All right, hi dogs by nature. We've been looking at inside zone quite a bit here. I just want to show it to you in a slightly different form. Here we are in shotgun. We've spread the field. We've got a stand-up tight end along with two wide receivers to this side of the field. We have a split wide receiver to the other side of the field as well. We're in 11 personnel. That's one back, one tight end. And we are going to run inside zone. So this is a play that's, it's not tied to any formation. It's something we can do from a lot of looks. We're going to make some small changes to it, which hopefully will present the defense with a lot of different things that they have to sort of account for and worry about and be able to defend. But really for our line and our blockers and our running backs, this is going to be really the same play. There's slight variations, but it's very, very similar to what we've seen run from the I formation, for instance, with a fullback. So here again, we're in shotgun. Again, we're going to see tight end in motion. This time, Barnage looks like he's crossing the field. Nope, he's coming back to the same side. We don't actually flip the passing strength. In this case, it would be defense is left, offense is right. We're going to see inside zone again. This time, Barnage is going to be sealing off the backside defensive end. This is a play that a lot of NFL teams, definitely Chris Alt out at Nevada, who coached Colin Kaepernick, invented the pistol offense. He calls this a slice run, slice blocked inside zone. And that is where you're going to get a fullback, a tight end. So one of those sort of skill players, movable pieces come from the front side of the play and be responsible for the defensive end on the backside. Okay, so that's what Barnage is doing here. Unfortunately, this play is not quite as successful as the last run that we saw, that sort of 7 or 8 yard gain. This is only about 2 yards. But I wanted to point out again, keep this in mind, this situation. This is first down. Devon Best has just fair caught a punt inside the 10. It's at the 8 yard line. If we drop back to pass from here, if Hoyer is catching that snap there and dropping back to pass, there is a risk of a sack for a safety. So even just getting 2 to 3 yards on this play is a win for our team. So keep that in mind. We're going to go to the actual play now from the end zone. So again, we see Barnage in motion. Now, the play is going to function exactly the same from shotgun as it is from the I formation, just with this little slice adjustment. Instead of, remember last time Cameron was over here and he was the one getting the key block, right? Sealing off that defensive end so the back could cut downhill. Well, it's the same block and it's still going to be made by a tight end, but this time the block is coming from the opposite side of the formation. So first, let's watch 82 as he goes across the formation to seal that defensive end. So now we're going to get a seal here, we're going to get a seal here, and cue Vince Lombardi. This should be a run to daylight here. I'm going to let it play here, and we can see Ray Maualuga is going to make a pretty nice play. He's going to fast flow downhill. He's going to stop the ball carrier for 2 yards. Now, in my opinion, this is not the best read by Chris Rainey. This is definitely not the best job by our offensive line, but it should have been successful enough. Now, let's watch this full speed again. Watch for Thomas's seal going this way, Barnage's seal going this way, and with that sort of crisscross action, look to see if Rainey sees this hole open on the left, if he could get through. Right there. So instead of making that little hesitation, he sees Maualuga flying in there. Instead of making a hesitation and trying to cut this way, if he just sees this hole and runs the daylight, I believe this goes for 4 or 5 yards, maybe more. Now, that's not the worst thing in the world for Rainey. It's not the worst thing in the world for our offense. And again, I said it before, keep in mind, 2 to 3 yards on this play is a win for us. And again, tag that for later. For now, let's look at what happened there to cause that cut, that hesitation, and how Maualuga was able to get in untouched. So we've got, again, Schwartz and Cousins are on the play side of this run, right? And Schwartz here has a pretty easy read. Again, with the zone play, if there's a lineman to the play side gap of you, you're responsible for that guy. So Schwartz has this defensive end here. He's in the play side gap next to him. He's got to block that guy. He's going to do a great job of getting his zone set out there. This guy wants to run upfield away from the run. Schwartz says that's fine. He turns him upfield. If we wanted to cut the run this way, there's a wide hole there as well. That's not the design of the play, though. So Cousins, again, is there a guy in the play side gap next to you? Yes, he has a guy. This is Cousins' guy right here. Cousins, not the best technique. He's on top of the lineman. He doesn't get him to widen with him. He's not square to the line of scrimmage, and yet he's not sort of turning this lineman out of the hole so that this space here opens up for the running back, right? He's neither widening this player, nor is he sort of sealing him off and pushing him out of the way to open up the lanes. Because really, again, we want to aim, and for the slice technique and running from shotgun, here's a minor adjustment. Rainey is probably going to read, he's probably going to aim for a point that's slightly more inside now. Okay, remember I said last time his aiming point was between the 7 and the 5 here. Rainey is probably somewhere along Cousins. He is headed on this track. And the reason is that the handoff and the angle on that, right? We're not coming from behind the I formation getting the handoff over here. We're coming from shotgun on the left. We're getting the handoff here. So just that move of the reception point a couple of yards is going to take that read and move it inside a little bit. So that is one small variation for the running backs from shotgun versus I formation. Now again, say he's reading the 5 on Cousins, right? His aiming point is right here. Now, if he continues on that path, you can see this lineman has come back inside of Cousins. Cousins has not sealed him off, nor has he widened him enough to be able to take this lineman out of the play. So as Rainey sees that coming through right there, he knows if he runs through here, he's going to get tackled. So I would really like to see Cousins either seal him out or just get him out wide. Widen fast, drive him, widen, seal him off, whatever you got to do, get this tackle out of here. So that's number one. Number two, Mack and Greco are working together on the backside of the play. So again, we have a bubble, right? Mack has no lineman in that play side gap. He's got a bubble, so he is going to double team up to the linebacker. Now, why is it not this linebacker? It's because we know Joe Thomas also has a bubble. He's got no defensive lineman in this gap. He is going to be able to leak up immediately to this linebacker here because Barnage is sealing off the backside there. Okay, so Mack and Greco are working 2-on-1, and they're going to work up to this play side linebacker here. Now, it really looks, just from the formation and how wide this linebacker is off to the right, that Mack is going to have to be the guy to go get him. So as we roll this forward, Mack and Greco getting that lineman to widen play side. Mack gets his hand out, make sure there's no penetration. He's headed up to the linebacker. As we see, this linebacker sees Mack coming. I believe that's Maualuga. Sees Mack coming and runs around. I mean, it's not really a scrape exchange on the edge, but it's the same sort of idea. He's sort of switching responsibilities with this lineman, and so Mack can't block him. So we're going to notice here, I don't really put this on Mack and Greco. They've done their job, which is to seal this off here and allow Rainey a lane. But unfortunately, O'Neill's Cousins man is not out of that hole. If he is simply over here a few yards, this is a wide lane for Rainey, and if Maualuga wants to chase inside, Rainey can just bounce this thing out, and he's one-on-one with the safety. So Mack and Greco do a good job of sort of walling these two players off. You'd love to be able to see them get a hand on them. Unfortunately, it's not the case in this play. And you can see even further as I roll this forward how that defensive tackle is able to cross Cousins' face and get back inside to really clog up that lane. So unfortunately, we just don't have the right lanes blocked here. Where I do think this run could still be successful, Rainey is taught to read this play probably from this tackle or this linebacker, something in here over. Okay, and he's just reading gaps. And if you see this Bengals stripe helmet in that gap, you keep reading to the left. If there's a Bengal helmet here, you're reading this gap. If there's a Bengal helmet here, you're reading this gap. And you just keep going left until you don't see any Bengals helmets, and you put your head down and you cut and you go downhill hard. Okay, so as Rainey gets the handoff, he's seeing this helmet peeking through this gap. He's seeing, obviously, there's no room between Mack and Greco. And he should see right here this linebacker coming through this gap. And so what should he do? He should move to the next gap, and he should cut and run to daylight. But instead, he braces for contact. He tries to lower his shoulder, and that's a big linebacker on not a big back, and he gets lit up pretty good. Now, if you remember back to the beginning of this film room session here, I was talking about the situation, right, and how just a couple of yards would really help our offense in that situation, even if we didn't get the 8 yards that we saw on the previous run when we're backed up in this situation. 2 yards is a huge difference down here. And so these are some of the reasons that you're going to see NFL coaches run these relatively safe plays when we're backed up in this situation. Now I want you to see we got 2 yards on the play, ball spotted at the 10. Brian Hoyer's in shotgun. He is going to pass. I want you to watch his drop back. As he gets the snap, where does the last plant foot hit? It is right on the goal line. Okay, so if we didn't get those 2 yards out of that run, out of that inside zone play, we're not going to try this play because Hoyer is going to have to plant in the end zone. And if it's a sack, you can see Mitchell Schwartz's man here is teeing off on the pass rush. If this man gets Hoyer in the end zone, that's a huge swing for us, right? With 2 minutes left in the half. Instead, Hoyer is able to plant, get the ball out. He does take a hit. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was spotted as a first down. So because of this pass play, we were able to get a first down. I believe we went down the field and we were aggressive right before the half. And I think it all starts with those 2 yards on first down from inside zone. So thanks for tuning in to Rufio's Film Room.